Welcome to Unspoken Conversations. Your words have power. Together, we will have a multi-generational conversation on topics that are considered taboo, risky, controversial, but most of all, thought-provoking. Our goal is to educate and inspire positive action that will motivate change and understanding. This can only happen when we are willing to have an unspoken conversation. Thank you for joining us. Good evening, everyone. It is Sunday evening. I thank you very much for joining us. This is going to be a good one, y'all. So as of right now, we are short, actually two guests, one being our host. Our host had to work this evening, so he will not be in attendance, and he sends his apologies. And then we are one of our other guests. He is delayed. Well, actually, two of them are delayed. But Brother Joseph, uh, he was here before I got here, so he's logged on, but he must be in some other area of his house. So I'm trusting that he will join us shortly. Hey, Brother Bill, thank you so much for joining us. I appreciate you. I should have had you on my panel too. um, but so today's discussion is on the emasculation of the Black man in Hollywood. So I'm sure many of you are like, okay, why is she talking about that? Why is that uh, a topic of a conversation to be had? So let me first say this. I myself know nothing about what it means to be emasculated as a man. So I don't profess to know. I honestly am hoping that I will learn something tonight. I'm also hoping that after this conversation that we will all have a charge of action to do going forward, on both for men as well as women. But the reason for this conversation is because I watch YouTube a lot to get my topics, and of course I started coming across a lot of videos where celebrities, celebrities as well as other YouTubers, podcasters, and what have you, were talking about this notion of the emasculation of the Black man in Hollywood. Believe it or not, the oldest YouTube video that I came across was from 2013. So this is not a new conversation, but clearly it's an ongoing conversation. And so the brothers, y'all may or may not have these kind of conversations in the barbershop. Uh, I don't go to the beauty salon, so I can't say we having these conversations in the beauty salon. But I do have intellectual sisters, so we talk about everything. Um, we talk about everything that has an impact on our community, our children, and our own personal lives. So uh, has this particular topic come up? No. Uh, Well, not with all of them. I have had conversations with at least two. But I wanted to have this conversation, and I wanted to do it with five black men. And I wanted to do it with five black men at various ages. So currently on screen, we have Daniel. And Daniel is 30. He'll be 31 this year. And then we have my godson Kyrie. And Kyrie, look, don't get mad at your godmother. 26, right? What was that? 23.
23. Yeah, 23.
I want to
I
put you at
got
26.
I got Nas in I got Nas in the other room that's 26 too though.
Okay.
If you ever do
Maybe
need
I was thinking about Nas. But so then we have brother Joseph. I don't know how old brother Joseph is, and then we have Kevin. But I know that they both are grandparents, so they're older. I think that this conversation is best had with men from varying generations or varying ages, because your perspectives tend to be different. I'm sure at some point they may overlap. I'm not really sure, but I don't want the conversation to be one-sided. There is no right or wrong perception or perspectives to these conversations. So I want everybody to feel free to um share what you're thinking, how you feel, your idea of what this thing actually looks like. Also, like I said, we have an interactive audience, so our audience may chime in on their own perspectives. They may ask questions or what have you. So this is truly an open dialogue, and it's a dialogue that anybody and everybody can absolutely comment in. So, Bill, feel free to interject a question, a comment, whatever you may have. So I want to start off with, for those of us who who do not know, let me first um, give a shout out. Guess what, y'all? This is episode 15. Hey, moving right along. Um, so the very first thing we want to go through is the definition of emasculation. So I came across this is all from what is it from the Cambridge Dictionary. Um, and so now, did y'all know there is a, what is it called? There's a uh it's like a ghetto dictionary. Have y'all seen that?
yeah.
Yeah. I didn't want to use those definitions. I was like, oh, it's a bit much. So we go keep it wholesome. So the emasculation is the process of making a man feel less male by taking away his power and confidence. So that is the formal definition. Also, I found this definition also from Cambridge Dictionary. Um, uh, is the act of castrating. So this is from a biological or biology perspective, meaning removing the male's sexual parts of a man or male animal, or removing the male parts of a plant. I didn't know plants had male parts, but okay. Um, and then the last one was the fact of making something less effective or reducing its power. So let's start there. Um, the, the word emasculation is not something that we use in common vernacular, but it's taking root, so to speak, in today's circles. And so I'll start with asking you to, uh, when I told you the topic, and I told you what we were going to talk about, what was the first thing that came to mind?
Um, emasculate. Um, First of all, the first thing that came to mind was I feel like those people that do hold that do strip power from other men. Possibly they've been stripped before, and then
Mm,
also like I mean I'm a Christian, so there's a God, but there's also there's also Satan,
mm-hmm,
and with that it's like there's there's multiple ways to strip masculinity. It doesn't have to be from even forcing somebody to know to to do something they don't want to do, like do something that's gay.
mm-hmm,
If they're a straight man, if they don't want to do something sexual with another man, like there's other ways like to be stripped or like the definition says to
mm-hmm,
reduce your power.
mm-hmm, mm-hmm, mm-hmm. Yep. Daniel?
For me, and again, hello everyone. For me, the first thing I thought about when you mentioned it to me, I'm a music guy, so I listen to a lot of music,
Mm-hmm,
and really the music industry for me, just how really more so in our culture, especially with Black culture, um, our young people, our young men who are coming up in the industry, so they have to portray themselves to be a certain way to
mm-hmm,
get this image or make it ahead so far in life, and then once they make it to that point, it's almost like then they get broken back down. Then they got to repeat the process over and over and
mm-hmm,
over. And so it's kind of like it's a game of, for me, and one of my favorite games is chess, and it's almost like a game of chess. In chess, you can move the pieces forward and back willingly throughout the game, however you want, until you capture the main piece, which is the king. Well, for us, as with men, our masculinity comes from, as the definition said, with protection, with our strength,
mm-hmm,
and more so just all about how we portray ourselves as men. And I think a
mm-hmm,
lot of times it's easier for people to rip our masculinity away when we don't really know, saying necessarily who we are or
mm-hmm.
what we represent or even just how much value that we have,
Right.
in our everyday lives. For me personally.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So you said you're a music guy, and immediately when you said that and you began to talk about the music industry and what have you, um, my mind went immediately to what's the boy named Lil Nas X?
Yeah,
You said it
Yeah.
right.
with the
So
hit
yeah,
song.
so I just know just because I've been on YouTube, but let me ask you this: let's take Lil Nas X. Would you say he what so I don't know if y'all buy his music or whatever, but or listen or how that would go. But would you say that he had more popularity before when he first came out and what have you, or has he had more popularity now since he I guess I guess came out? I don't know what to call it, but
Uh, I mean that question. I guess music wise, I would say before, but like probably more people know him now because there's a saying, bad publicity is still publicity,
mm,
and they might not know him for his music anymore. They might know him for his
mm,
sexuality. So there might be more. He might reach more people in that way. But like music
mm,
wise, he had the first hit for a little minute.
mm-hmm.
That little
Yeah.
horse, yeah. I know that horse.
What you think, Daniel?
Mm, I mean, not he's not one of the artists I really follow, but as far as to answer your question, I believe he probably had a bigger following before before he mentioned that. I
Hmm.
guess well he said that he was or he wasn't right.
Huh?
As far as he mentioned that he was or he wasn't gay, right?
Yeah, when
Is
he
he
didn't come out the closet.
right? Because he says that he's gay, right? Okay.
Yeah, I mean, he didn't have to say it.
Right. Okay.
Well,
Right.
so
So I
I
mean,
saw a
cause
picture
like
when
as
he.
far as
I'm
well, I
sorry.
mean, I don't know.
No, no, go ahead. No, I was
No, I was
saying
gonna
I
say so
saw a
like.
picture of him when he first came out. So he looked like he was a straight boy. Um and
Mm,
then yeah, now
He's not looking so
definitely
straight.
not trying to be funny, but I don't really know who I'm looking at, or or what I'm looking at.
right.
Um, but yeah, but based on what the two of y'all just said, so y'all both said that he had a greater following when he first came out versus when he dropped his first hit or whatever versus now. Uh,
But I think people
but
already
now I
kind of
mean, but he on
knew
something
that.
else now.
Right.
But
Yeah,
I
yeah,
really think people kind of already knew, you know, he was, it's been already. Um, he wasn't a homosexual man when he first came out. I mean, he was a homosexual man when he first came out. But it's just, I guess, when he finally admitted it, yeah, the following was already there. But me personally, I want to say it probably grew a little bit even more, once he did come out.
Hmm. His following grew more when he after he came out.
Right.
Um.
Just for the,
I think
for the simple fact of, what I'm saying, just whatever that people want to listen to him for.
Hmm.
Because I don't, so I don't know what people really look for. Me personally, I don't really like his music just as far as just
Right.
an artist wise.
Right.
But that's just me.
Hmm.
I think there's a different definition of being followed and being known.
Mm.
So,
Okay.
like I was saying, he might have like when I was playing football, we had speakers for warm up. They used to play a song sometimes. He came out, I ain't never hear that song again.
Mm.
It's like his following might have. I mean, but then I'm pretty sure he ain't lose many followers because there is a lot of people. I mean, first of all, when I listen to music, I don't even care about if they straight, gay, snitch, thug. You feel me? I don't care about none of that. Good
Hmm.
music is just good music to me. So I don't even really get into their personal life.
Hmm.
But like I said, I ain't really hear much of him after he came out.
Hmm. Um. Okay. So okay. Do we think that he was? Do we? Okay. So do we think he was gay when he first came out?
That's the question. We'll never know. We gotta ask his mama.
Well, I don't necessarily know that his mama would know. But the reason why I asked that question is because so they said, Kyrie, you said his first hit, it was up there on the charts for a minute. Um and so now I don't know what happened after that, but uh uh is he putting out the same kind of music or has his music changed?
His music changed too, though.
His music
I
changed.
haven't really heard much, but
Hmm.
I mean, off the music video you seen before, that's different from the country song he had, and then
Hmm.
I don't know. I know he do a couple features with somebody, but I haven't really heard him after that country
Hmm.
hit.
Hmm.
But
So I know. I gotta wonder. You know, of course, he's not here to um speak for himself, but I gotta wonder how how much of that was his own doing versus his the music producers, like how much control that they was like, if you want to have, if you want to stay on the charts, if you want to be in like in the top 10 or what have you, this is the image that you're going to need to portray.
Well, I mean, if that was the case, he would still be top 10, right?
Right, but he didn't know that. They sold him a dream.
Right. But
right,
I don't. They could have had influence, but even still, at the end of the day, so he came out, he came in the music game. He was what, a teenager. At,
Hmm.
nah,
especially at this point in time, most kids that age now, they're making so they're making decisions about saying their identity for themselves at this point. And I think for him, depending on, because again, we don't know his background, we don't know how he was brought up,
Hmm. Hmm.
but however, the agenda was pushed around him, that could have had a big influence on him too, versus just having the producers, come out and start and say, hey, if you do X, Y, Z, saying you
Hmm.
make this money. Maybe that's what they was already looking for, and he just so happened to, say have a hit song and put it together, and then boom, they made some money right then on the spot, just with saying his identity, and then him just having like this crazy just hit song for this minute.
Hmm.
But like if that truly was going to propel him to keep going and keep getting money and still be in top 10, me personally, if music is your thing as an artist, you should still be top 10. Like, what I'm saying,
it
your
shouldn't
image
matter.
or identity at this point,
Hmm.
it wouldn't even matter. Because think about all the music icons that who probably didn't come
Yeah,
out.
they got skeletons in their closet, and they
So
still
we probably question Prince. Saying when he was blowing up, right? But I mean, at the same time, it really didn't matter. His quality of music was different.
Yeah, but we never really questioned Prince's masculinity. We just,
I'm
we
just
just
saying for the
accepted his
outside
his.
looking in.
Hmm?
For those on the outside looking in, they could, like, if they don't really know who Prince was, like most this generation, most of them really probably don't know who Prince is. Like,
Hmm.
let's be
Hmm.
honest. So if we put up a picture of Prince and Nas
Hmm.
X beside each other, they're gonna be like, well, which one is which? Now, those of us that know Prince, we
Hmm.
already know Prince. Saying Prince was Prince.
I
But we
mean,
talking
dress wise,
about
I
the
feel you.
big.
Hmm.
I was gonna say dress wise, I feel you, but Prince ain't Nas making Nas makes his sexuality very public.
Hmm.
There's always gonna be a question for Prince. Like, was he not? Because he was weird looking. I mean, at least I
Hmm.
don't know. That might have been normal around that time. Who knows? But
I mean, I look. I'll be honest and say I never. But then again, because I saw Purple Rain, so I mean, I never thought that Prince was gay. Um, I just
yeah,
I
some people just weird.
I
Yeah,
mean, that was his flavor. I mean, I but but it was like so he was a celebrity, but to to your point, so there was a certain way that Prince carried himself
right,
versus the way Lil Nas X carries himself. So um you're right with Lil Nas. I ain't even I don't even have to guess.
right. I
But
mean,
honestly, I will say this. I know that he says that he's gay, and like Bill said, he became the poster boy for the LGBTQ community. But sometimes I wonder some of these celebrities that they just do a lot of stuff for shock value.
I mean, what's a crazier talk? Kim Kardashian, who they step pops that turned trans? He had a whole family and then just
Oh,
woke up and then
Bruce
they
Jenner.
gave him
Well,
the
formerly known as Bruce Jenner. No. I don't know what's his new name. Uh, uh,
It'll be Caitlyn.
Was it Kylie Jenner? I don't know. Anyway,
No, it's
formerly
Caitlyn.
known as Bruce Jenner. Now, what'd you say? You say he got a whole family and what now?
he got a whole family and as soon as he turned trans, they gave him like the Woman's World Award. So yeah, like what you just said,
Mm,
like a lot of stuff is like for sure.
mm,
Like ain't no way a man won the
mm,
female award.
mm.
And he got a whole family and with kids.
Um. Well. Yeah.
And his legacy was already decent.
Well. So. Yeah. That's a whole nother. That's a whole nother topic.
Yeah.
And I not to I do think that there's pause for concern in our own community, because these images are being portrayed
Normalized.
on this on screen, for our boys coming up, uh and I don't know, y'all tell me, does it promote some level of confusion?
Yeah, the cartoons are getting a little bit more, you know, like
And I
with
mean, like, but like when you see, I mean, like, we'll stay on, we'll stay on, not, Nas X, Lil Nas X. When when our when our boys, our younger boys, younger than you, Kyrie, when they see him, um,
like yeah,
what's to
because the
stop
internet
them
is
from
good.
thinking that that's just normal?
I mean, they gonna think it's normal, and then I guess right then and there, I don't
Well,
know. I get what you're saying. It's gonna be a lot of confusion.
Hmm.
I guess we got to ask ourselves, well, are our children raising themselves, or are we having parents raise our children? Because I
That's
mean,
fair.
Enough.
you know what I'm saying? There's yeah, they have access to X, Y, and Z, but you know what I'm saying. Also, in the same breath, you can also monitor and minimize the images and stuff that they see. No, we can't block out everything because once they're out of our line of vision, they now belong to you know what I'm saying, whoever we give them authority to watch over them. And
Hmm.
Yeah, that's
so
true.
at that point, you know what I'm saying, our children have to be they have to be able to think for themselves and know, you know what I'm saying, right from wrong. Well, my mom and
Early.
dad said, you know, this is not right, regardless, you know, X, Y, Z.
Hmm.
And then we have to trust
Yeah.
that they're able to come home and have this conversation with us. And as parents, you know what I'm saying, we got to let them know, like, A, this is right, or B, this is no. But I think right now we're running into an issue of where we're not really, some parents are not really trying to raise their kids in a sense. It's almost like some of them are having children, but still trying to live out their dream in the same sense. Not saying that they can't. It's just now,
Hmm.
it's just like the child is just now like the best friend that's along for the journey, and versus that parent-child relationship. I don't know if I'm making sense, but it's just like for me, that's what I see as a school teacher. That's some of the things that I see too.
Hmm.
You know,
Hmm.
then we can't necessarily answer for how every parent raises their child, but
Hmm.
when we come into
Hmm.
our classroom, we have to
Hmm.
teach these values, especially the ones that I've been taught.
Hmm.
You know, how children should behave and saying still allowing them to be children, but teaching them discipline so that way when they go out into the world, they're not so thrown off by what's actually happening around them. They're still aware, they're still able to be children, but
Mm-hmm.
they know what's actually right from wrong. And so then that confusion doesn't happen because if I'm confused as the parent, as the adult, well, the child who's a sponge, they're going to be confused because they're going to follow exactly everything that I do.
Right. So Dantia says Prince music spoke for itself, and he wanted you to focus on his music and not who he was. Although he did change his name to the artist formerly known as Prince and identified himself as a symbol. Yeah, I don't quite know what that was what that was about, but I like Bill's point, and it speaks to like what we were just saying about the difference between Prince and Nas X. Prince may have been androgynous dressing individual, but he had a reputation as a real ladies' man, and that he
Right.
did,
I heard of that too. They used to say he
But
had
and
that's
that
all
he
the
did. So
that's
again,
the
that's
cheaper.
so I think that's why I could say there was never really no question about who he was, but back to our topic. So um I went through and I looked for um black men in Hollywood. Some old, some new. I think the very what I realize is that there are two different eras, so to speak, between the black men and the black men in Hollywood now versus black men in Hollywood um 30, 40, 50 years ago. So first one that comes to mind when I go back is James Earl Jones. So James Earl Jones, he started off in theater, and then he went into Hollywood. He went into acting on the big screen. And uh James Earl Jones, he let me make sure he never won an Oscar, but he never had a role where he wore a dress. Um, I can go back as far so around that same time. There was a comedian. Well, he was a comedian slash actor, and his name was Flip Wilson. Flip Wilson, he did wear a dress, and his character name was Geraldine. But he would do this character on his comedy show. He had a late, well, I don't know what time he used to come on, but it was a show a variety show that he had, and he would dress as this character. He too has never um won an Oscar. So I started going through the list, and so I'm just going to name a few who um who have wore a dress or dressed in drag in Hollywood. So top of the list is Eddie Murphy. Eddie Murphy was nominated for an Oscar, but he's never won an Oscar. Jamie Foxx, he's won an Oscar. Miguel Nunez, A. Nunez Jr., Chris Tucker, Wesley Snipes, Martin Lawrence, Tyler Perry, Arsenio Hall, Ving Rhames, Chris Rock, Sean and Marlon Wayans, your boy Kevin Hart. Out of all of those actors and comedians, only one of them has won an Oscar, and that was Jamie Foxx. Y'all know what Oscar he won? What movie that was? He didn't have on a dress in that movie.
You said he did not,
He did not.
but was it Ray?
It sure was, and he deserved that Oscar because he played that.
Hmm.
But on the flip side, male, yes, Bill. Yep, it was Ray, and Vanessa. Thank you. So on the flip side, male actors who have never wore a dress: Denzel Washington, and Denzel Washington has several Oscars. Morgan Freeman, he has Oscar. Chadwick Boseman, Samuel L. Jackson, and y'all know Samuel just ain't having that. um, Will Smith, he has an Oscar. Michael Ealy, Idris Elba, Don Cheadle, Derek Luke, Morris Chestnut. I think I would be really upset if I saw Morris Chestnut in a dress. I'm just saying. Isaiah Washington, Terrence Howard. I can't even see Terrence Howard in the dress. Um, Danny Glover, Omar Epps, Lorenz Tate. Now, old school Sidney Poitier, and he has an Oscar. Forrest Whitaker, he has an Oscar, and Louis Gossett Jr. He too has an Oscar. So, um, with all of those, we could we we could almost say that maybe that whole notion of the emasculation of the black man in Hollywood is not a thing. But what I noticed between those two groups is two is almost a full-blown generation in between all of them. So, for example, like I said, James Earl Jones. I'm not sure how old James Earl Jones is right now, but when James Earl Jones started out, they was still making black exploitation movies. So you think about the black male actors during that time, they wasn't really worried about them. Like, they like whatever. And this is what I'm thinking. Um as time went on and black male actors became more serious about their craft and about their career and what have you, and they started pulling significant box office dollars. I think Hollywood started to pay attention, and they was like, okay, I think we got something here. And just like most things, they saw a way to enterprise off of um, black actors in Hollywood. So now I don't know how this necessarily plays out as far as female actors is concerned, but if we think about who who I won't even say black, who a man represents in his family, period. And then you then look at what um, the black man has been portrayed as being, the representation in his family. I now start to understand where this notion of emasculating a black man, especially in Hollywood, is coming from. Because, for example, we'll just go back. So on the side, the list I just gave y'all, um, of those actors, um, just humor me. Of those actors, which one of them would, if you had to pick one of them to be your father, which one of them would you pick to be your father?
From
And
both
I know
lists.
Chris is there with you, Daniel. Chris, you could chime in on this also. And who you said,
Uh,
Daniel?
You talking about from both lists?
No, from the second list, from the ones who have not wore a dress.
mm,
Just humor me. Look.
I mean, I like the people that you said. I mean, I don't know father wise, but I like Denzel. I think that was my
Denzel.
favorite one you said.
Okay.
If I had to choose, I probably have to
Mhm.
say Denzel.
Okay. What you say, Chris?
um, um, I mean, I hate to, sound like, like a bandwagon, but I mean, it would be Denzel, and it's only because of the way that, I mean, he carries himself
Mm-hmm.
overall as a person
Mm-hmm. Mm.
compared to the rest of the guys.
That's fair. So Bill said James Earl Jones.
I think James would
Then
just be a cool
Anthony
friend.
Anthony said Denzel, and Vanessa said Denzel. So I'm sorry, I can't really. I probably would have to pick James Earl Jones because everybody else is kind of like around my age. Oh, I left off Michael B. Jordan. Um, yeah. So, but on the on so well no, Sidney Poitier I could see Sidney Poitier being my dad. So when you think about now, and I think Sidney Poitier is an interesting I think he's an interesting um actor. I You want to talk about an exceptional actor? He was an exceptional actor, but I have to say, during a time when it could have been really easy for him to compromise, he did not. And he has some he has some good what I thought to be good roles. I can't think of a role that I felt like would have been like a sellout role for him. Uh Bill and Vanessa, can y'all think of and Anthony, can y'all think of any a role that Sidney Poitier did that could have potentially compromised who he was as a black man, or as yeah as basically as a black man. Um, so Sidney Poitier would have to be my dad. Um, I don't know. Yeah, I did mention Forrest Whitaker. I Forrest Whitaker was a good actor, but he not attractive, so I'm not gonna pick Forrest Whitaker. um, but everybody said Denzel Washington, and so we everybody know everybody has a clear image, all of his movies and what have you. If you saw Denzel Washington in drag or in a dress, would that change your perception of him?
Mm,
Are we just talking about for giggles or just, you know?
I mean,
this,
in
I
in
mean, this
in
kind of go
well,
back.
I mean, in a movie.
This kind of go back to when I was saying like with music, like there be fake thugs, there be people that's gay, people that's weird. Actually, I mean, accomplishment wise, you can't take his accomplishments away because he
Mm,
is a really good actor. But like there is a separate between what you do and like how you is personally. Like I might like your music, but I might not like the person you is,
mhm.
and that's real. Um,
So Felicia said, not really. He getting a check. Um,
Right. 'Cause I mean, at this point, if it's just for giggles, because I mean, to get the check, bro.
I also
so
feel like it depends on how you did get the check.
Mm, not necessarily. Because I
the,
mean, because
It is
we talking about like we
because
talking about a
you don't want to
well, we
lose
talking
who
about
you
a
are
well-to-do
for a check.
Denzel.
well, you got a point. He's so okay. So
And
Kyrie, you
that's
want to
what
right?
you was trying to say about Nas. You was like, did he lose who he was for the check? That's
Mm,
this is what it comes down to. Like what
mm-hmm,
I mean, like we said, we don't know if he was gay before the situation, but if he wasn't gay before the situation, that means what happened changed his life forever.
mm-hmm,
And then now he got to look back, or whoever, all these people that accomplish big things, they got to look back and be like, was this money worth it? Because I probably would have got the same money or just as much. Because all you got to do is not spend more than you make. And they're very talented people. So they're going to get money. If you're
mm-hmm.
like that, you're like that. You're going to get money
We talking
regardless.
Mm-hmm.
about Denzel though, bro. Like, nah, that's different.
Well,
That's just
I
different.
mean, I think Kyrie has a point. You have to have you have to have standards. And just like Anthony said, you shouldn't compromise your morals for a check. So to Kyrie's point, if your entire career, so again, out of all these people on this list, Denzel has the most Oscars,
Mhm.
and then all of a sudden, um, in 2024, he got some movie coming out where he let's say he's a straight heterosexual male by day, but he a drag queen by night. And they told Denzel, look, we're gonna pay you $50 million to portray this role. So those of us on the outside, we love Denzel. And honestly, we may not even know all of the full logistics of that whole entire deal. But at the end of the day, like Kyrie just said, you don't won your Oscars, you have your accolades and what have you. Denzel clearly has standards. I'm sure that they done came at him with a whole lot of roles, and that there are just certain roles that that he's not willing to do. At least we hope there are certain roles that he's not willing to do. But then, like I said, so come 2024, he got this movie coming out, and you hear that they look Denzel getting 50 million to play this role. He's a heterosexual male by day, but he's a drag queen by night. Do we how does that impact us as fans, um as as a community?
I mean, what can I do besides continue to love the man for who he is and still support
Mm-hmm.
him? I can't change his decision. Because I
Mm-hmm.
mean, if we want to look at it in that light, I mean, because okay, so we can go back to the parent-child relationship. You got a child, a son or a daughter. They're straight by day when they go to school, and then when they come go to school, they're gay. So I mean, at this point, what can you do? You can still say no, 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 no. I'm not going to do this. I'm not going to do that.
Mm-hmm.
Or you can love them and hope that they change.
So
But
but
we
so
talking
here's
about a
the
real
difference.
season being built up.
but
So
but
like,
here
it don't
here's
matter.
the I'm sorry. Here's the difference between um us being parents and parenting our children versus a celebrity that is plastered across a screen, right? That everybody sees, young, old, black, white, everybody sees, and what have you. And so whether you want, it's like I forget who it was said. It was a rapper. He didn't want to be a role model. He was like, I'm not doing this to be no role model. I just want to make music. But at the end of the day, once you get thrust out there, right? you have people who look up to you. You have people who see you in a particular light. You have people who want to fashion themselves according to you. So like if you have somebody who is an a male who's an up and coming actor, and he looked at Denzel's entire career, and he saw that through his entire, he looked at how many Oscars Denzel had. He looked at his roles and how, he felt like, from up until 2024, Denzel was uncompromising in the roles that he took. And then in 2024, um for whatever reason, was it the 50 million that caused him to say, "Oh, I'll take this role," or you know what was it? So now this up and coming actor, you're like, well, hey, if Denzel could do it, um, then I can do it too. And so now
You're saying
now we don't have no, now we so whatever I got to do to get that dollar, I'm gonna do it. And so that's the difference between the parenting, because what you do in your house is what you do in your house. You have all types of images coming into your house, impacting how you parent, impacting what your children see and what they don't see, and what have you. And you are constantly having to do battle with correcting those images. um some you have control over, some you don't. But when you have, like I said, you have these celebrities in front of you, they, whether they like it or not, they represent something in all of our cultures. Whether you would have chose them to represent or not, they represent something in our cultures. And yeah, I think it's an incredible pressure to have. But I feel almost confident to say that I don't think that Denzel would compromise himself like that. I would not even be surprised if he has been approached and he'd be like, right, not doing that. Just like with Dave Chappelle and
yeah,
Pat
you basically
Williams, it
see
was like, yeah, I no, we ain't doing that.
you see them as strong black men.
Yeah, yeah.
I feel like it's the weak men that makes it even harder for the strong man.
Mm,
And like even like from the very beginning when you was talking about masculinity and stuff, I feel like society these days really are against strong men. They
mm,
really want to bring like like back in the day. I feel like every generation is getting weaker and weaker. Like back in the day, we used to hunt for food.
mm,
Now we go to the grocery store just like
mm,
a female can,
mm,
easy. Like
mm,
everything's getting easier and easier, and
mm,
everything's getting weirder and weirder. Like the Dave Chappelle incident when he was talking about, I seen some podcasts and videos when they try to put him in the dress, they was mentioning other people, other black men that they put in the dress before to try to make him get in the dress.
mm,
So like
mm,
them being
mm,
weak makes it even harder because they're like you're being stuck up, you're being stubborn because your friend that or so and so did it. Why can't you? It's nothing. It's just this. It's just this. That's all they saying. You're just doing this.
mhm, mhm. So, look, Daniel, you look like you're thinking.
I am.
I,
Like like
I, okay.
like car. I was gonna say cartoons used to be a little bit more violent. Now they're real soft. Like all the superhero stuff, all the like, and then cartoons also they're being more. They're making it okay for guys, or even shows now. Like there's a lot of gay scene. Well, not I wouldn't even say gay
Mm,
scene, but there's a lot of uh you know, homophobic content. Like every show, there's girls and girls kissing, guys and guys kissing. They're trying to normalize it, and honestly, young kids, like you were saying, some parents just take kids on a journey. They're not parenting them; they just
Mm,
on some
mm-hmm,
buddy buddy stuff. So those
mm-hmm,
kids is watching those shows
mm-hmm,
with them, and it's messing everything up.
mm-hmm. So, okay, so Anthony said one of the reasons why Dave Chappelle went to Africa and left millions behind was because he said he wasn't being true to himself. And I remember that conversation. He had that conversation with Oprah, but also in that same conversation that he had with Oprah, he pointed out how he inadvertently pointed out how Hollywood emasculates black men. Something that else that Dave Chappelle said in that same interview, he said that Hollywood knows who is going to be their moneymaker. I take that to mean not so much as they know who is going to be their moneymaker, they make a decision who is going to be their moneymaker, and then they orchestrate things to make them beholding unto them. So Kai, remember the movie we was talking about yesterday?
Yeah, I remember that one. I remember.
So really quick, how'd you come across how that movie came up in your conversation with whoever you was talking to? Because that's not a movie that just typically comes up in conversation.
Oh, 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 because there was a couple conversations we had, but you talking about your boy Will, man. Yeah, man. I ain't never watched the movie or the scene, but you know, I mean, Will, like I said before, like even with Kylie Jenner dad, like there's a lot of people that's try to make their platform look straight, but the whole time they not straight. Like Will's another
So you
man with a
think you think
family.
Will Smith is not straight?
Nah, his you see what his son doing, and like you were saying before, parents are natural role models. How are you a natural role model to your son, and he think it's cool to do what he doing? And I think he also came out too. So
Mm,
that's like that, that's a big red flag right there. Just your son
mm.
is out the closet.
So for those who don't know the movie we referring to, you know the movie we're talking about with Will Smith in it, Daniel?
I do not.
6 Degrees of Separation. So yeah. It was after that movie, Will Smith career blew up. I think is it safe to say after that movie, his so those in the group in the chat who remember the movie 6 Degrees of Separation with Will Smith, is it safe to say that after that role, Will Smith his career blew up?
Was this
Yep,
around the
net
same time?
Nessa says 6 degrees. Yep.
Oh man.
So Felicia said she don't think that Will is straight either. Lord have mercy. Not Will.
And then it's also a red flag that his girl likes feminine men. Jada likes feminine men because her entanglement was with a gay dude. August is out the closet also.
Well, Tupac wasn't gay, was he?
Who said Tupac was gonna mess with her?
Okay, so that's not true. Well, I don't know.
No, 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 no. I heard that. Yeah. Mm, nah, I don't
Oh
know.
wait, what Chris say? Oh,
Tupac is hot
uh,
blood.
Well, I mean, okay. Well, she gives the impression that they had a relationship. Like,
Yeah, maybe. I mean, they went to high school together. I think. Right?
well, yeah, they were supposed to they were best friends.
You gotta let guys say it. Y'all girls, women say a lot of things. Was that we gotta ask Tupac? Was she the main? Was that just some that you know
Mm,
that you just was y'all just good friends and was just flirty?
mm,
Like,
mm. So I'm sorry. I want to go back to some of our comments. Um, so Vanessa says, "I know we're talking about men, but Viola Davis playing Ma Rainey, who was bisexual, didn't diminish my feelings toward her. If Denzel took on a role where he was portraying someone, a man, a man who dressed, so I guess she's saying a man who dressed as a woman, she would not. That wouldn't change her perception of him."
I mean, I feel that just off the fact that it's acting, and you're not supposed to. If you're a true actor, you shouldn't mix like it shouldn't be like always personal. I mean, you should draw lines in the sand for sure, but
Mm-hmm.
if you're acting.
Mm. So, because you're an actor, that it should be no holds barred.
I mean, it's like with women, they might be in a relationship, they might be married, but they're in sexual scenes. They're not cheating. It's business.
Well, that's true, but you do believe it or not, you do have some actors who will not do intimate scenes.
That's
You
true.
you do have some actors who will not do intimate scenes. I guess it really depends um on the actor, but yeah, I so what I'm so so what I'm getting from my conversation. And again, I do apologize that we are missing two of our panelists. They're older, and I definitely wanted to get their way in on this topic. But Anthony and Bill, y'all holding it down, so I appreciate y'all. Um, is it so? It based on what the two of y'all are saying, um, there really is not a quote unquote emasculation of black men in Hollywood right now.
Nah, big. It's real big. And I feel like I don't know. I guess it just sound like outside looking in. If we need to have you on a collar if we give you all this money. And the
Mm,
only way we could do that is
wow.
by making you powerless.
Mm,
And that could be for women, like women, like you said, they might just be, just ran through in the industry. That's a probably kind of a way of selling themselves, just being everybody toy. Guys, you know, either getting beat up real bad or getting or taking a masculinity. So
mm. What, what you think,
or
Daniel?
some people kill fans. Oh my bad.
Oh no, go ahead. I'm sorry. I didn't. I thought you was finished.
Yeah, I'm saying there's some people that they got fame from somebody missing their family that was important to them. So it's all types of way to make somebody feel powerless.
Mm,
I mean, yes and no. So like, I guess with the emancipation thing of Hollywood, we did talk about two different generations, but saying the generation that we are that you did compare the two to, saying that's they basically learned from that previous generation, and
mm.
so really it's like
Joseph said the same thing.
It's kind of like, so they understood what to do and
Mhm.
what not to do, because also in the same breath,
Mhm.
yeah, we're talking about Hollywood, but Hollywood still wasn't trying to have all those black folk in movies back in the day. So there
Right.
was only certain roles that, so they was going to give us anyway.
Mhm.
Now, as far as when time goes on, they start to see how talented we are, and just like how they do with everything now. They
Mhm.
start feeding us different things. Well, if you do this X Y Z, you know what I'm saying, you can blow up, you can do whatever.
Mhm.
Some of us take the bait, some of us don't.
Mhm.
Those of us that have the morals,
Mhm.
with Denzel, like I was saying, if Denzel took the role, fine, he take it. That's not going to change how I feel about the man.
Mhm.
Because again, that's still Denzel. But I know Denzel is not going to take that role simply because of his morals of what he believes in. Not only has he done
Mhm.
movies that show what he says, and he's also done podcasts and things like that outside of his movies, saying, just on a more so down to earth basis, like, look, this is who I am.
Mhm.
And so the emancipation for me, I wouldn't say it's more so Hollywood. Well, I guess you could say the music industry is Hollywood. So for me, when you say Hollywood, I guess we're just talking about actors and everything right now, but more so the emancipation of, or making a man feel less than, for me is more so in the music industry, because it's still, even with Jonathan Majors, yeah, he may have, they try to say he did XYZ, but he still had two movies pop out in the same weekend, and
Mhm.
both of them hit number one. So was it really a de-emasculation, or was it just them trying to quote unquote break him down because maybe they probably already knew this was probably going to happen? I think he's still going to, do what he has to do. It's
Mhm.
just now, is he going to be their puppet to allow these things to happen? And I think that's where the de-emasculation comes from, when we
Mhm.
as
being a
black people,
puppet.
we allow those with power to manipulate us. And I
Mhm.
think, those actors and stuff that we adore, that we love to see on the TV screen, most of them have done a decent job with not allowing the industry to portray them as less
Mhm.
than.
Mhm. So, so from a generation standpoint, so I could see, like, for example, Michael B. Jordan. Um, he would be of this generation,
Mhm.
and I could see him looking back over, looking at Denzel, looking at Morgan Freeman and um Forrest Whitaker and all them, and and fashioning his career, his career to them. But then, okay, Kevin Hart did an interview, and Kevin Hart said he would never wear a dress.
I
Uh,
mean, this is the same dude that kissed somebody though.
Kevin Hart, who
Yeah,
he
I seen him
kissed?
pick up. Uh, what's the I believe the dude off of Blackish. Uh, early movie role.
Anthony Anderson.
Yeah, he had like, but he had braids at the time.
What movie was that?
I'm gonna have to look it up, but
Well, I don't know, but
it
I
was just a
know,
peck though. It was
I
a
know
peck, but
Kevin Hart
still,
said, huh?
it was a peck, but still.
I, I don't remember that, but I know Kevin Hart said that he would never, because Cat Williams tried to call him out, and Kevin Hart said he would never wear a dress, and then he was on Saturday Night Live.
With a dress on.
Yes, and when
I
I
heard that.
saw it, I so let's just say I would have, if I saw it before I saw I heard the interview, I'd have been like, because it just looks so awkward to me. Like, it was so awkward. I mean, he uh it just didn't, it wasn't comedic. Um it was, I, I tell you what it was.
Go ahead,
So
buddy.
he looked uncomfortable. Uh, he looked uncomfortable, like he did it, but something
No
in
cap
his
force.
face suggested to me he looked uncomfortable. Did y'all
And he
see
could
it?
have played it off. I,
It
it's been a minute.
it was
What was did he like do
so
like a weird wave?
he yeah, he was so the skit was the skit he was supposed to have been a bishop, a female bishop, and he can't. But so all these men came out in, like, like in Catholic bishop wear, dress, or whatever, garb or whatever, and then Kevin Hart came out, and his dress was like bluish or something, and he had it like so I don't know, and he had this little, the hats that the Pope or whatever wears on his. He had one to match the dress, but it was like hanging back, and he just looked really uncomfortable. And then he was doing this wave like this, but his face was jacked up, like. Oh, Bill said he thinks it was Kevin Hart with Dwayne Johnson on Saturday Night Live. Um, wait. So yeah, and so Cat Williams said, "Well, I guess it was Kevin's turn."
Mm-hmm. Cat is off the train.
Because Cat said he ain't doing that. And so now Kevin Hart supposedly is at the top of his game.
Yeah. Yeah,
Uh,
he on
I,
Shark Tank now.
huh?
I said I seen him on Shark Tank. He up.
Kevin Hart as what, a judge? As a
I mean
as a
Shark
business
Tank, they be
mogul?
yeah.
He was supposed to have been a business mogul.
Mm-hmm.
Um, yeah. So yeah. My thing. I guess I wouldn't have felt well. I don't feel any particular way about it. It's just that I know what he said, and then to then see him, and I guess I feel like I probably wouldn't maybe not have picked up on uh his facial expression until I remember what he said, and I kept looking and I kept looking, and I was like, dude, you look uncomfortable and bothered. But then, that was my take. I could be wrong. Hey, maybe it's just business um for him. Maybe it's not. I think that, again, like I said early in the beginning of the conversation, I'm not a man, so I don't know what that that whole notion of emasculation, um what that does to the psyche of a man. I could just I can imagine what it does uh to a psyche. I would like to believe um that is not the case in Hollywood. I'm glad that the list that I had of black male actors who had not worn a dress was long. I will say that I so Samuel L. Jackson. So y'all know how bad his mouth is. Could y'all see
Mm-hmm.
Samuel L. Jackson in a dress?
I mean,
Unmute
maybe.
yourself. Unmute. Daniel's like, no, no.
He's such a good actor. He'll probably make that. He'll. I can see him cussing somebody out if he did have one. It'd be one of those.
No,
What
no,
was that? No, Daniel. Daniel was like, no. You were like
no,
vehemently no.
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 Either somebody getting cussed out, or he walking off the set. That's only two options.
Who who is somebody? I'm getting some feedback. Okay. Okay. But you said Daniel. You said he getting cursed out. Somebody getting cursed out, or he walking off the set.
One of those
Yeah.
two options. That's it.
Hmm. Yeah. I can't even get that visual together. Oh, Kyrie, I think that's your something wrong with your sound. So I'm a mute him real quick. Where Chris at? Okay, you back? Say something. Where Daniel? Where Chris at? Chris.
Hey.
Hey, I'm gonna need you not to be
What about
laughing.
now?
Okay, thank you. You sound much better. Um, Chris, you know Forrest Whitaker?
If I see his face, I'm bad with names.
He usually got the lazy eye in the movie.
Oh yeah,
Yeah,
that's my guy.
yeah.
Yeah.
That's your guy. Can you see him in the Can you see him in the dress?
Oh nah.
I
No.
feel like Forrest Whitaker would look like Ving Rhames in A Holiday Heart.
Nah,
Yeah, no.
he'll look like Oprah. Oprah from that movie.
What from The Color Purple?
Yeah.
Oh Lord. Yeah. Forrest Whitaker, he ain't going out like that either.
Yeah, but Samuel Jackson, I can see him cussing him out immediately, like
Uh
on spot. What you say to me?
Samuel not having that. Um Idris Elba. Y'all better say no.
Who, Idris?
Yeah.
Nah,
Nah, that's my dude.
nah. He did one of my favorite movies.
Wait, so Vanessa says Samuel Jackson did Snakes on the Plane. So yeah. So he did Snakes on the Plane and what?
Was that real?
Oh no. I don't know. I
Well,
can't be on no plane with no snakes either, so I probably would have did with Samuel L.
uh,
Jackson.
well, look, I don't. I'm sure all those snakes was electronic. They wasn't real. Um.
Not real.
Ain't no way.
We had some dead snakes on set.
Okay, Danny Glover.
Nah, he's in Lethal Weapon now. He can't be doing that.
Mhm. So so what's interesting is right that there's just certain characters, certain male characters that yeah we can't even get that. Bill, thank you so much for joining us. We appreciate you. We can't even get that visual together. Mm-mm. Uh,
do, do we hold Tyler Perry to the same standard?
Yeah, I said Medea earlier.
But that was
what standard
that
we
was
talking about?
as far as the emasculation of the black man in Hollywood.
So I have an issue with Tyler Perry,
Mm-hmm.
and honestly yes or no. I'm sorry. I can't. I I can't answer that because what what I will say is this is because like everybody that we've named and what have you, we're just um, posing scenarios and what have you, but we're not putting it, we're not throwing anybody under the bus. We're not putting anybody down, passing any particular judgments. We just pose scenarios and what have you. I have very specific feelings about um, Tyler Perry, and because of my respect for a black man, period, whether I agree with what he's doing or what he's not doing, I'm not going to air that out in the public. I will never give media or social media for that matter the satisfaction of listening to me as a black woman put down a black man. So sorry, I can't. I'm sorry, I can't answer that, but I could tell you on the sidebar, some other time, my feeling about Tyler Perry. But out of respect for people of color, I'm not going to give my opinion about him as it relates to emasculating black men, if that makes sense. um I wish that more of us would take this stance. At the end of the day, um I feel like we, as people of color, must be really conscious um, about the things that we say about each other in the public, because they take what we say. So two things: they take what we say and they use it against us, but that they also use us to further tear us down, if you get what I'm saying. So
Yeah,
yeah.
the
So
people
it's
we
like, like even when we were talking about Lil Nas X, we didn't say anything that he hasn't displayed or put out there or what have you. We didn't bash him. We didn't bash him. I don't want this to be a platform like that. We didn't bash him or what have you. I feel like we were just specifically talking about because he is in the public eye, because he is quote unquote an influencer, a celebrity. You have people who actually look up to him, children who actually look up to him. Um you know we're talking about how does celebrities who give that type of image, how is it impacting us, our children, our communities, and so on and so forth. But I absolutely hope that we did not, at least I don't think that we did. I hope that we did not come across as though we're bashing any black celebrity. I hope that we did not come across like that, because that is absolutely not my goal. If anything, we're just trying to determine, you know, if this thing is real, if this is really happening in Hollywood, and how, or even in the music industry, and how is it affecting us as a community, how is it affecting our children. But Daniel, I appreciate your question, and I will absolutely share with you some other time my take on Mr. Perry. But so we are coming to the end of our podcast. This So I did this on purpose, y'all, that I wanted to be 90 minutes, because I did not feel like this was a conversation that we was going to be able to knock out and get our fill in just 60 minutes. I appreciate everyone who chimed in with their comments. Vanessa, Dantia, Anthony, Bill, Felicia. Anthony said Felicia think everybody is gay. Uh, she don't. But Andy said, but but that's got him into Hollywood. Oh, so I think this is comments about Mr. Perry. Um, so I think Vanessa knows what my feeling, but she said Tyler knew he did that to make all that money in order to create his empire. Oh, so you must be talking about his character as Medea. And
Yeah.
she says, I only wish that he didn't have to go that route. So what I'm talking about has nothing to do with the Medea character. So I'm gonna just leave it there. But again, thank you everybody for your comments. Please remember to like and share and subscribe on my YouTube channel. This is episode 15. I made it all the way to 15, y'all. It's I think I absolutely think I'm gaining some momentum. To Daniel and Kyrie, I want to first apologize to you two because again it was not supposed to just be you two. There was supposed to be two other um men on board, but y'all held it down. Yeah, held
Thank you,
it
thank
down,
you,
and
thank
I appreciate you. Yeah, both gave me a lot of a lot of food for thought. Um, I was excited about this conversation because I'm not a man, and so I don't I don't really have a perspective. I know what I think it looks like, but only a man can actually speak to this, and how it impacts him, and how it and how he feels about it, and so on and so forth. And so I wanted my audience to hear that from not just um uh a younger generation, but I also wanted them to be able to hear it from an older generation. So again, I do apologize that they were not on board, but yeah, I held it down, and I appreciate you. I thank you very, very, very much. Kyrie, you made yourself available at the last minute. I just reached out to him yesterday because another young man who was supposed to have been on, he had his calendar mixed up and he's in Florida. So he wasn't able to join us today, but my godson jumped in my head and I was like, oh, he's in that age group, so he will be perfect. And again, our host, he had to work this evening, but again, thank you all very much. I hope you all have a wonderful evening. Stay tuned to our next episode. Our next episode, I'm on the fence. It's either going to be on uh, affirmative action, or we're going to talk about the impact of um, housewives in the various states and cities. How that affects us, uh, um, women. So I don't know. I haven't decided which one I'm gonna go with. I'm leaning more towards the affirmative action since that's so fresh, and there's a whole lot of different views about that.
you.
But thank you, everybody. Y'all have a wonderful evening. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. And in the famous words of Russell Simmons, thank y'all for coming out. God bless you and good night.
Good night. Thank you.
You're welcome. Bye bye.